Hello everyone. So today I am here to present a topic on sociology and health. In this we will discuss about the health system. The health system which is impacted by the sociology, the social health. What do you mean by the social pathology and what are the models in it? How we will check it? What is psychology? So we will start with the social pathology. So social pathology, it is the study of the social problems basically, how these social problems are impacting the health of a person. So social problems which are undermining the social, psychological and economical health. Okay, so there are three parameters you can see. One is the social aspect, okay, how our society is, okay. Then what is the psychology? So it's an individual psychology. What are the attitudes, habits, customs, beliefs a person is taking? So that is all part of the psychology. This is also impacting the health, or this is also affecting the disease, okay, means they are causing the disease. And what are the economical health? Because economical health is also the part of this social pathology, and they are causing the disease. Many diseases are there with this economical status, okay. So these three things, the social status, the psychological status and economical health, they are comprising of the whole, they are causing, they are the part of the social pathology, okay. So we will see this thing, what are the social problems which are studied under social pathology, okay. So there are social constraints, okay. The social hindrance constraints, what are these constraints? So there are poverty, okay, and there are destitution, means there is a extreme poverty with which a community is suffering or individual is suffering, okay. There is the illiteracy in the community. So of course they are lacking of the knowledge, they have their different beliefs about the disease, they have different belief about the health, they are somehow ignoring for many of the things, okay. So there will be ignorance associated with illiteracy also. There are social constraints such as migration and environmental crisis. The people are migrating from one place to the another place. They have the cultures, some of the cultures they have taken from their environment, and they are coming to the different environment. They will learn something. So means there will be changes we'll find. So in the migration and environmental crisis, this is also one of the social constraint. Sometimes there is a industrialization and urbanization. So there are some areas which are maybe in sometimes they are categorized as rural. So there is a industrialization going on, and now the areas are turning to the urbanization. There are some advantage of the urbanization or some disadvantages also associated with it, and they are impacting the health, or they are affecting the person's health status. So these all are the part of the social pathology under the social constraints, okay. Now in the society we have some of the social evils, okay. Social evils means this should not be happen, but yes, there are things which are going on. So like smoking, they are impacting to the individual health as well as to the community if it is exposed. And there are some drinking habits, okay, these are social evils. Then there is the caste or casteism in the society, which is impacting the psychology of the person, the mental health of the person, okay, which we are seeing day by day. And the gender biasness, okay, the male and female, okay, the biasness in this gender discrimination, okay. Then there will be child neglect or child abuse in the society, which is also impacting the health, which is a part of social pathology. They are associated with many of the health problems. Then child labor and child abandonment, okay, negligence of this child. Then there is sometimes we are seeing the stress behavior in the community. The community is stressing on the people, or the people are individually, the people are taking it, okay. It depends on how the people are taking. Now crime and corruption, okay. Prostitution, the people who are involved in the sexual activity, sexually transmitted diseases, reproductive transmitted diseases. These are some of the social evils which are under the social pathology. Okay. The third or the last social problem here is the social deviance. Okay. So, social deviance include drug abuse. So, there are people who are involved with the means they are taking lot of drugs. So, they all are affecting the society. Okay. The individual health, of course, the society, they are giving the examples like juvenile delinquency is there. Okay. So, juvenile crime, here is the juvenile delinquency means the crimes which are generally the children are doing it, and there are some suicidal attempts the people are going for. So, these all are some of the social problems in the society, and they are impacting the social health. They are impacting overall, means we can say the mental health or the psychological health, they can impact for the person. Okay. Then coming to sociology and health definition. So, there are some of the definitions under this like culture. Okay. In the society, the people have cultures. There is a concept of acculturation, there is a concept of customs. So, first we will see what are the definitions in these slides here. Culture means which is the learned behavior, and we have taken it from our ancestors. Okay. So, this is learned behavior which is socially acquired, okay, where we are living and from which generation we are coming. So, those cultures we are protecting them. So, that those are the cultures. Now, acculturation means we are mixing two or more type of cultures. So, is culturation is cultural contact or mixing of two cultures. Okay. And this mixing of two cultures can be by these of procedures, like if we are involved in some of the trade or commerce, or we are dealing with the peoples, a lot of people. So, we are learning from them, there are many cultures, we are mixing our cultures with them. So, trade and commerce is one of the example, industrialization. Okay. Then we are propagating our religion. So, we are inculcating our religion to others. Then education, okay, by education we are also changing. Then there are wars. Okay. Wars are also impacting on some area. These wars are also giving some of the cultures to that area. Okay. Then what is customs? So, the customs are the patterns of behavior, okay, that can be objectively verified within a particular social setting. So, a particular area is following a custom. Now, customs are of two types, okay, customs or rituals. The customs are of two types, one is called as a folkways and another is the mores. Okay. Folkways are we are giving some informal norms, society is providing some informal norms, means a better way to do things, a right way to do things. Okay. But that is individually means if they are accepting it, they can follow it. Okay. So, right ways of doing things in less vital areas of human conduct. Okay. Whereas mores, the second part here in the custom is the mores. Okay. Now, these mores are very stringent informal rules. So, a person who is living in a society, they should follow these mores, okay, these stringent customs. If they are not following it, there are chances that the society can punish them. So, these mores, these customs should be very stringent, they should be followed. Okay. Then apart from it, there are the theories in the sociology. So, there are some famous theories like feminist theory, okay, Parsonian theory, Marxist theory and Foucauldian theory. Okay. Now, what these theories are telling about the society. So, starting with the first feminist theory, it is focusing on the gender. Okay, by the name I think it's clear, feminist theory. So they are telling about the gender biasness, gender discrimination. So they are telling that disease is due to the social role of a woman which is enforced by the man. So whatever the discrimination in the society with the women, okay, the role with the women, so that is associated with the disease. Okay, that should not happen. This we have to remove this gender inequality. So they are promoting the gender equality. Okay, they want equality, they want to remove all of the discrimination in the gender. Then there is one theory called as Pearsonian theory. Okay, this Pearsonian theory is telling about, states that illness did not simply imply a biologically altered state, but it is a socially altered state. So not every time the biological agent is required for causing the disease. There are sometimes we have seen some social problems, they are also affecting a person's health. Okay, so disease is due to the social strain. What are the social demands? Okay, so every society has some demands. Okay, and people try to satisfy these demands. That's why there are some problems and they are impacting the people's health. Okay, so this is all in the Pearsonian theory. Then coming to the Marxist theory, this is giving the relationship between the health and illness, and they are telling that there are some organization, these organization are putting profit ahead of the health. Okay, so that should not be happen. Health should be taken as first priority. Okay, then we'll take profit later. Okay, so this is by the Marxist theory. Profit should be taken only after the prioritization of the health. Okay, then Foucauldian theory. This Foucauldian theory is telling about the roles of the individual and the masses. Okay, so they told us about that if we want to segregate the disease, so we have to segregate the population. Okay, so disease is labeled to segregate population to make it easier to control. So we have to segregate those people who are suffering from the disease, so that we can eliminate the transmission and we can prevent the spread of the disease. Okay, so these are some of the theories like feminist theory, Pearsonian theory, Marxist theory, Foucauldian theory, which are important in the theories of sociology, and what are the some of the factors which are causing the health issues in people. Okay, then coming to the psychology, this is also one part in the social pathology. I told you social, after that psychology, then there are some economical issues. So in psychology, how a person's psychology is built up. So there are 2-3 points. Means emotions are there. Okay, then there are some values. Okay, these are making the psychology of a person. Opinions of a person, beliefs of a person. Okay, they are making the psychology of a person. Now emotions means strong feeling of a organism. Okay, which motivate human behavior, and these emotion can be of any type. Okay, negative emotion, positive emotion, any emotion. So they are the strong feeling. Now what are the values? So the values are generally, they are the ideals. Okay, we are following what values a person have. So customs, what customs a person is following, institution of a society toward which a people of a group have effective regard. Okay, and these values can be positive as well as negative. Okay, so like values have cleanliness, freedom, education. Okay, similarly negative like cruelty, crime. Okay, so these are some of the values a person have, and they are making the psychology. Similarly opinions can vary. Okay, depending on person to person. These are subjective in nature. Okay, they are temporary, they can be changed. So views held by people at a point of dispute, that are called opinions. Then what are beliefs? Beliefs are generally we are acquiring from our ancestors, from our mothers or fathers, or to whom we are respecting. Okay. So, views which are derived from the parents or grandparents or the people who we are following, so from them we are making the belief. Okay. Generally they are permanent, okay. They are unstable because we are following them, we are respecting them, almost unchanging, and is subjective in nature. Okay. Now, other thing which is also the part of the psychology apart from the beliefs, values, customs, there is the attitude. Okay. Attitude is a mixture of all of the things. Okay. Now, attitudes are relatively enduring organization of beliefs around the object or a subject, means our way of behavior. Okay. And our behavior is formed from our beliefs, our values. Okay. So, our way of behavior towards any situation, that is called as attitude. Okay. Means how we will see the things. Okay. So, acquired characteristic of an individual, means we can say this is the personality of an individual, this attitude. Okay. It is more or less permanent ways of behaving. Okay. This is generally is caught, it is not taught. Okay. So, this is already learned, means people are making it by their own way, okay, by their values, by the customs, all of these things. Okay. We cannot teach them. So, is objective in nature. Okay. This is all about the attitude. Now, habits if we are doing the thing on a regular basis, okay, means are doing the things on a repeatedly, we are doing a same type of things. So, we will do it as habits, and accustomed way of doing things. Okay. Habits are acquired through repetitions. If we are repeating anything, we make it as habits. It could be positive as well as negative. Okay. These are all the part of the psychology, and these psychology also affecting our health, how our belief, how our values, how our attitude, how we are seeing any situation, these all are affecting our health. Okay. Apart from the social problems, apart from the psychology, there are the economical constraints in the social pathology. Okay. So, economy is also one of the major determinant. Okay. Now, economy can be checked by some scales. We already know there are some economical status in the society, like poor people, rich people, middle class people. Okay. So, how we will check the economic status? First is the modified Kuppuswamy scale. Okay. The scale, you should know the name of the scale. This modified Kuppuswamy scale is for the urban families. Okay. Urban means the families which is in the cities. Okay. Now, this scale has given the socio-economic status. Okay. This is the status here we have decided. Now, what are the points on which basis we will say yes, this class is upper, this class is upper middle, lower middle, okay, upper, lower and lower. There are 5 classes we have decided on the basis of these scales. Now, see, these 3 things we have taken. What is the educational status of head of the family, who is the main person of the family? Okay. According to the educational status, we have 1 to 7 scores. Okay. 7 score already, of course, it is given for those people who have a very good quality of education. Okay. Then occupation of the head of the family. Okay. In which occupation means head is working. Okay. So, it is 1 to 10. Then what is the income of the family per month? So, see here we have taken the family, not the head. Okay. So, we will calculate all of the income which is for means a family is getting per month. The score here is 1 to 12. Okay. So, on that basis we will give the scores here, and 26 to 29, this is the highest score. This is for the upper class. Okay. Less than 5, it is for the lower class. Now, coming to the second scale, it is also showing the socio-economic status of the families, and this scale is known as Uday Parikh scale. This Uday Parikh scale is for the rural families. So, just see the difference here. The first scale, modified Kuppuswamy scale, is for the urban families, whereas Uday Parikh scale is for the rural families. So, for the village areas. Okay. Now see what are the important factors which are making the class to upper or making the class lower or middle. There are some factors which are dominant in the village area like caste. Okay. So see, you can see the differences here in rural or urban. So the caste is the main factor, then occupation of the person. In villages there is also one thing important, the farm, okay, the farm property. So we will see also the occupation. After the, what is the education of a person, how much land a person have, okay, what are the social participation, what is the community participation of a person in the village area. Now how many family members are there, okay, then house, farm power, okay, agriculture land, then material position, okay. So these are taken in this Uday Parikh scale, okay. Here we have taken the score, highest score is more than 43, which is a class first, and the lowest score is less than 13, which is a class 5th, okay, for the urban areas, for the rural areas, sorry. Now coming to the third class, BG Prasad scale. BG Prasad scale is also for the rural areas. So for rural areas we have two scales we are discussing. First we have discussed Uday Parikh scale, and the second BG Prasad scale, okay. This scale we have included per capita monthly income, okay, per person monthly income. This is new parameter we have added in BG Prasad, okay. Now BG Prasad classification, there was a classification in 1961 which is changed now, and the scale is known as modified BG Prasad classification 1991, okay. So you can see the differences in the modify. We have taken, if per capita monthly income for per person I am talking, if it is more than 1000 or equivalent to 1000, okay, so we are putting it under the socio-economic class first, okay. This is for rural area, okay. And see the class, we can see it is going so on a lower side, okay, and the also income is going to down. So in the second class we can see 500 to 999 capital per monthly income. So we will classify it into second class. Similarly we can see, so for lowest it is less than 150, okay, and it is putting under class 5th. Now coming to the economics. So what are the general values here? So see the values, there are some of the values we are taking, and on that basis we are comparing the economy of a person, family or a country or a particular place, okay. So first here is a gross national income, okay, gross national income, or the second name simultaneously we can say it gross national product, okay. This means whatever the income generated in country plus net income which is received from the abroad, okay. So the people from our country who are living in abroad, and whatever their income are, so we will include in this gross national gross income generated in country, okay. So that total will called as a gross national income or gross national product. Then second is the gross domestic product. So domestic means only R. So gross income which is generated in the country only, okay. We are excluding net income received, means the people who are in abroad, the residents of the abroads, so who are the part of our country, so we will exclude those incomes, okay. So that is called as a gross domestic product. What is net national product? So there is also one term called as NNP, okay. By the net I think you all are clear. Net national product means we will take the gross national product, okay, our country income plus the income we are receiving from the abroad, will minus the whatever we are consuming, okay, how much we have consumed. So we will minus that factor, consumption will minus, okay. Now coming to the net domestic product. Okay. In the net domestic product, we will take the gross domestic product, okay, so total value. In the gross domestic product, the total value of all this domestic product will minus the value of depreciation on our fixed assets. Okay. So, value is going down or the values are changing on the fixed assets, that factor will minus from this. Okay. Depreciation will minus from this. Now, there is a one term called as a PPP, which is very important, purchasing power parity. Okay. Purchasing power parity means $1 is equivalent to how much money. Okay. So, if we are saying that if we are talking about the purchasing power parity, so $1 is equivalent to like 65 rupees or nearly 60 to 70 rupees, it is going to vary. So, this is PPP, for every country it is different. So, number of units of a country currency required to buy the same amount of goods and services in domestic market, okay, as $1 would buy in USA. So, this is called PPP, power purchasing power parity. Okay. Then coming to the below poverty line. So, in India we have two committees, one is the Tendulkar committee and Raga Ranjan committee, and there is also one scale which is provided by the World Health Organization. Okay. This is showing the BPL criteria, below poverty line criteria. Okay. Now, for rural areas and for urban areas, see per capita caloric intake. So, for rural areas, if a person is taking per person is taking less than 2400 kilocalorie per day, okay, in rural areas, then we will put it under BPL. Whereas, for urban areas, if a person is taking less than 2100 kilocalorie per day, this is the BPL criteria. According to the Tendulkar committee, per capita income, per person income, if it is less than 27 INR per day, rupees per day, and for urban areas if it is less than 33 INR per day. Then we have a new committee which is coming after so many years. So, that is per capita income by the Raga Ranjan committee, RC committee, if it is less than 32 INR per day, whereas for urban areas if it is less than 47 INR per day. WHO has set one criteria for this, if it is less than 1.90 US per dollar, US dollar per day, okay, then we will put it under the BPL criteria. Okay. Now, coming to the social security. So, there is a one term social security which is provided to the people, of a country, and this is very important concept. The social security is providing the social insurance, okay, providing the social protection and protection against socially recognized conditions. Okay. So, the people of a country who are suffering from poverty, they require a social security, they do not have food, they do not have shelter, okay. The old age, okay, the disabled persons, the person who are unemployed, okay, and there are many other situations also. So, at that time we need the social security, the security for those peoples. Okay. So, there is a one concept which is provided by the Bismarck. Okay. Now, Bismarck introduced one system of social insurance, and this concept was first given in Germany by this Bismarck in 1883. Okay. In 1883, and this, after that, when this model was given by Bismarck, this model was accepted by so many countries. Now, the countries are following this social security system. They are making some programs for the poverty, old age, disability, unemployment, how we can improve these of the conditions. Okay. Now, social security system can be provided in two ways. Either we can give social assistance or we can give social insurance. Okay. Social assistance means we are helping the peoples, okay, and this is non-contributory. Okay. So, like poor people or unemployed people, they do not have any contribution in it. So, non-contributory benefit extended to vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups means poor people, okay, disabled people, These type of people are here, and they don't have they don't need to give any contribution it. Okay, so that is social assistance. There is a term called as a social insurance. Social insurance means contributory benefit extended to individual as a matter of right. So any state or any country, okay, they are giving contribution to they are giving contribution to the individual, and individuals has also one of the part in the contribution in social insurance. Okay, so there are some insurance programs, health insurance programs, individuals as well as states or countries also giving contribution. All over, all of these peoples are putting contribution in this. There are some of the social securities we can see, like Workmen Compensation Act, there is a Factories Act. These are some of the acts which are going. Employees ESI Act, okay. Then Central Maternity Act, which is for mother. Then the Family and Pension Scheme for old persons. These are some of the schemes which are going on. There is a one term called as a social safety net. Okay, this social safety net is a conclusive term. Okay. For welfare, for unemployment benefit, for universal health care, homeless shelters, minimum wage people. Okay, there are some subsidy services are given to the public transport, such as public transport prevent individuals from falling into poverty beyond a certain level. So, this is all of the conclusive term here in the social safety net we are providing. Okay. Thank you so much everyone. I hope this is clear to all of you. We will meet in the next session.